For the moment, I'm going to skip over talking about factorials and go to a special application of them. Factorials are where you have n things available. You arrange all n of them so that you would be multiplying that integer n. It's a positive integer, and you multiply it by all the other integers prior to it on down to and including 1. In that case, arrange. There are some different words we could use for arrange. Arrange, put in order, ranking. Hierarchies are suggested, like the hierarchy of a company: president, vice president, treasurer, secretary. There could be a hierarchy to that. So if we have 4 things available and we want to arrange 2 of them, first of all, that is a permutation. I think of permutations, order. You've got O for order and P for permutation right next to each other in the alphabet. And if I didn't know about the multiplication principle, I could put these as ordered pairs. Here's all the ways that A could be the leader of the 2. And then let's see here, all the ways that B could be the leader. All the ways that C could be the leader. And all the ways that D could be the leader. Notice besides the order in permutations, just like factorials, there is no repetition. You're not going to have some ranking where A is getting repeated. You're not going to have A as both a president and a vice president, for example. Like the multiplication principle, some books use P42, 4 comma 2. Other textbooks use 4P2. They are the same. This is what we find on the TI-84. And okay, without a calculator, because there are 2 things to arrange, I would say in terms of the multiplication principle, there are 4 tasks to complete. So we're going to have 4 for the first. And because we're putting this in order and there's no repetition, 3 choices for the second. So 12 ways, just like what we saw here. On this one, P5 comma 3, or in other textbooks, 5P3, you want to take of those 5 things, arrange 3 of them. There are 3 tasks to do. Pick your first, pick your second, no repetition, and pick your third. So there's going to be a total of 60. I'm not going to try to list 60 ordered triples, although if I can remember, I'm going to show something that would suggest how we could come up with that a little later in the video. On the calculator, fire that up and show the TI-84. First off, real quick, before I show the calculator, there are 2 formulas for figuring out permutations. One of them involving factorials. The other looks like this, where the last thing that you multiply by is n minus r plus 1. In this case, 4 minus 2 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. Coincidentally, 5 minus 3 is also 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, so in this case, the last thing we multiplied in each of those cases, the last thing in this string of multiplication was 3. I do not like to use the formula for permutations that involves factorials, and here's why. Factorials get very large very quickly. You can get a factorial by pressing the math key, and then on older calculators it might say PRB instead of PROB, but in any case should still be your fourth choice. 250 factorial is huge. It cannot calculate a number that big. But what I can do instead is type the 4 first, and then the math key again, the probability submenu, choose number 2, and we get 12. By the way, let me check something here. I'm going to put it in math print mode. There's a math print mode. It actually will look like what I wrote on the board as 4P2. Then 5P3 I said should be 60. So there we go. All right, so following that, let's take a look at number 11 here. Little League team has 20 teams entered into some like World Series of Little League. How many ways can there be a first, second, and third place? Is it a permutation or a combination? It is a permutation. I know that because there is an order to this: first, second, and third. They're not just saying how many ways could we have a top 3 out of the 20. We specifically want to know first, second, and third place. Furthermore, there is no repetition. No team is going to be both in first and third place. So there would be 3 blanks to put in here because we want to pick the top 3 teams. And from that, start off with 20. So you've got your first place team. See, besides writing the blanks, it's a good idea to describe what you're doing for yourself. Second place and third place. Out of those 20, once you've picked the one that is first place, well, not pick, but they play the game and we find out, then you use up one of those teams. There's only 19 remaining, and followed by that, 18 left for third place. Now I'm also going to type in 20P3 on the calculator to see what we get. But let's see, 20 times 18, 2 times 18 is 336. So 20 times 18 is 360. Multiplying it by the 19 in the middle would be the same as multiplying it by 20 minus 1. We'll distribute. 36 times 2 is 72. So 7,200 minus 360. I believe we're going to get 6,840. Let's see if that's what comes up on the TI-84. Here we go. So 20P3. I can get it to wake back up. There we go. All right, I've already got something arranged 3. So if I insert there 20, I have to delete that 5. 6,840 as predicted by hand. So what next?